Ladies and gentlemen, live, not really live because you're watching this after it's taped, from Oil City, Pennsylvania, and Rumble Weekend. This is the Pennsylvanian sensation, Greg Cherry.
And live via, do you even say Memorex anymore? Is Memorex still a thing?
I don't think so.
I don't think it's live via Google Hangouts because that's how we're doing this shit. From Canyon Country, California, this is the West Coast professor, Jeff Meacham. Once again, we are taping on opposite ends of the country simply for Greg's gratification because that's how we roll around here.
I need to fly out to California, that's why.
Well, that too. But maybe next year we'll do a Rumble weekend prediction in person. We'll see.
Yes, next year for the 30th Rumble.
We are shooting for that as of this moment, but we got to get to the 29th Rumble first.
Yes. And, this one, yes, and this one seems to be bigger than it has been in previous years, simply because this year's Royal Rumble match is for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship.
Well, I think what they're trying to do is make everybody kind of look the other way and realize that there's not a whole lot of star power in this Rumble match.
Yes.
Everybody's on the freaking shelf.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was watching your preview show with Aaron, and you noted that there was 26 guys confirmed for the Rumble, and according to .com, there's only 13. I mean, that's yeah. So
okay, because I saw a list on .com that was 26. I saw a list on .com that was 13. I saw the wiki list, which was 26. So
wikis are anybody can put like David Arquette in there for crying out loud.
Jeff Meacham could be in the Rumble tomorrow night. You just never know.
Hey, if I would have won the Powerball, I would have been number 30.
That's right. Bought your spot in there, huh?
Yeah. Just pull $1 Million Man from 1989.
That's right. Which is a good Rumble.
Yes, it was a good Rumble. Maybe we'll get to that at some point.
We'll get to that. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about this Sunday first. I mean,
yes.
For the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And some people are complaining, be like, oh, why aren't they mentioning that the 92 Rumble was for the title? It's because the title was vacated.
Right. It's not the first time the title's on the line. It's just the first time the title's been defended in a Royal Rumble match.
Yeah, and they are really trying to screw with Roman Reigns for this one, making him the number one entrant. And realistically, in character, that's the smartest thing they could do. It's like, we're making you defend the title, and we're making you start the match off. Which you can still win from number one, and a lot of people thinking he will. And have differing opinions on that. And I'll get to my prediction when we get to the actual prediction portion of the show.
Well, we'll do that then. Okay. The thing with this is they're trying to get Roman over. That's what this whole match is about. And, there was a great meme that I believe Kalen James, our buddy, posted on Twitter of a meeting between Vince and Stephanie and Triple H and some random jobber executive in the executive room saying, Vince is saying, this is going to be all about Roman. We're going to get him over, blah, blah, and Triple H goes, I love it. Stephanie goes, I love it. And the guy goes, so 2015 Rumble never happened? And they throw him out the window.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we did this last year. He came in, he dominated, but he didn't start the Rumble last year.
No, he came in number 19.
He did.
He had his moments. But you know what? That's the thing about this year. He being the number one entrant, he doesn't have to win to get over.
No,
and
really
understand.
And he's already over being the WWE champion. People are saying, well, he's not drawn, he's not, doing this, doing that. You know what? They wouldn't have put the big gold on, not the big gold, but the big championship on him if he wasn't a viable commodity already. And that's what Roman Reigns is. He's a viable commodity, and he deserves to be the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And I think that whatever showing he has tomorrow will definitely showcase where he stands in McMahon's vision.
Yeah, and like I said, and we'll get to it in the predictions, I don't think Roman Reigns has to win tomorrow. And quite frankly, with my prediction, I don't think he's going to win. But we'll get to that.
I don't think he has to win tomorrow. I think he has to win at WrestleMania.
Oh, he'll win at WrestleMania. There's no doubt about that.
Right.
I just don't think he will win tomorrow night.
All right. And the question everybody is bringing up to me, and I'm sure to you, Greg, is will it live up to the 1992 Royal Rumble where the championship was last on the line? And I think it's a very unfair comparison because, as I mentioned at the top of the show, the star power this year is nowhere near where the star power was, 24 years ago.
Right. And, back in the 92 Rumble, they announced pretty much everybody that was going to be in that match right before the show was to begin. So
yes,
this year we have no idea who's in it, but basically half the people that could be in it are hurt.
right.
It's like,
Yeah.
you won't see Orton probably, unless Seth Rollins was miraculously healed. You won't see him either.
You definitely won't see John Cena.
So he's not going to pull a 2008 on us.
No, not even close, because he just hurt his shoulder. So
yeah, and he just went through surgery a couple of weeks ago. So
yeah, I mean, unless he hobbles out there and throws himself over the top rope with one arm, it's not going to happen.
Which it's Cena, so it might happen.
Very true. Very true. It's definitely a depleted main event scene compared to the 1992 Royal Rumble, where, yes, the focus was still on Flair and Hogan and Savage and Sid and Piper and a few others, but that entire Rumble, everybody that was anybody was in that match.
Yes.
And I think, like I said, I think it's unfair to compare this year's Rumble with that Rumble because, there's so much potential in this Rumble that we don't even know about. I mean, there's guys in NXT that could be in this match that people don't watch NXT on a regular basis, and why aren't you if you're not? There's the mystery of the 4 guys from New Japan that may or may not debut. There's a number of variables that we are unaware of compared to 1992, where, like you said, Greg, we knew everybody that was going to be in it right before the show started, so we knew, okay, this is what we're dealing with. In this case, we don't know.
Right. And, when asked straight up, is it going to live up to 1992? I don't think it will, personally.
I don't think it will either.
1992 has stood the test of time over almost a quarter century.
Yes, agreed. It's still my favorite Rumble. We're talking about favorite Rumble memories coming up here in just a second. That's my favorite Rumble. And you wouldn't think that, me being a Hulkamaniac, the fact that Hogan got jobbed at the end. But you know what? It was still Hulk Hogan having a huge, strong showing. And what made that Rumble more than anything else, besides the overall impact of a Ric Flair and all the guys that were in that match, was the commentary.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you have Monsoon and Heenan, the best commentary team ever.
Yes. And
have Heenan rooting for Flair. It's like he's throwing his impartiality out the window. It's like he's focused on Flair the entire match, which is fantastic.
Yeah. From the minute Flair walked through that curtain, robe on, and Heenan went, damn it, you knew you were in for a wild ride with the Brain as long as Flair was in there.
I mean, he even continued it into 1993 when Flair started the thing.
Oh, no. Flair walks out. I'm like, oh, man. Poor Bobby. I always have a heart attack by the time he leaves the WWF, and he almost did.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, God.
Well, we are on favorite Royal Rumble memories. Personally, for me, the 1992 one is one. I would say 2014, which is a Rumble that gets crapped on a lot because of Daniel Bryan not being in the Rumble match and Batista coming back and winning it. But the fact that I was there, it was my first Rumble match, Alex's as well.
Oh, cool.
To see live. I mean, that was awesome.
Yeah, definitely. I've not been part of a Rumble in person. I've been to a couple WrestleManias, and I've been to a few SummerSlams now, thanks to them being in Staples Center for the better part of the last 5 or 6 years, up to last year. So I saw a few SummerSlams, but Rumble's always been a special place for me in my heart because you've got the complete intangible of not knowing what's going to happen when person A or person 3 or person 30 comes through that curtain. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's always awesome. I like 92 Rumble, as you mentioned. That's my favorite Royal Rumble by far because of them, mainly because at the time I was whatever I was, not quite 9 years old yet, and so just pro WWF and very much anti WCW because I hadn't really gotten WCW yet, and just seeing the WCW champion come to the WWF and stick it at WCW's butt that he was there and that he was ruling the roost was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I like the 2004 Rumble. Great story. Sad story now, but great story at the time because it was him after being in the WWF for 4 years and not really doing anything above the mid-card level. Chris Benoit winning the big one and then pulling the ultimate switcheroo the next night on Raw, announcing he could challenge for either championship, which I'm not sure if that ultimately bit him in the butt as far as storylines go, because yes, it was a great story to beat Triple H and Shawn Michaels WrestleMania and at Backlash and defend the World Championship, but from a strictly outside observer looking in, he'd already won that championship.
Mm-hmm.
If you're like WWE and consider the world title the successor to the WCW and WA title, he'd already been that champion.
Mm-hmm.
I would have gone after Eddie Guerrero and had the ultimate battle of friends at WrestleMania and have that develop into something else.
That would have been pretty awesome. I mean, seeing Juan Guerrero go for the title at Mania.
Yes.
That would have been incredible. But the question is, do they acknowledge Benoit's WCW title win the night before he left for the WWE? Do they acknowledge that? Because, yes, he did win the title against Sid, but there was controversy involved. Not following WCW in 2000, I'm not really sure how that worked.
Basically, he won the title on the 16th.
Yeah.
At Sold Out. Sin was the next year. And then he and the 3 other Radicals showed up on Raw on the 31st.
Hmm.
They went to Nitro the next night. Benoit was basically, they were going to walk out. The 4 of them and Shane Douglas were all going to walk out together. They were going to leave. And somebody pulled Benoit, I forget who it was now, pulled Benoit aside and said, dude, we're going to go away with you. You're the champ, we're going to go away with you. I think it was Kevin Nash, don't quote me. And he ended up taking the belt to Nick Patrick and going, there you go. And just laid it on his table and walked out with the other wrestlers that were getting ready to walk out. Raven was cut loose right away. That's why he went back to ECW. And then the other 3 and Benoit went to WWF right away and ended up on Raw on the 31st. So to answer your question, yes, his reign is still considered a one-day championship reign. If you go to the WWE.com archives of the WWE Championship, it's there. You can't click on it because it's Chris Benoit, but it's there.
Right. Now, we've talked about some of our favorite Royal Rumble memories, but what are some of the worst? I mean, not a lot of people talk about the worst Rumbles of all time. I mentioned 2014, which I'm a little biased towards being better because I was there. But what are some of the worst? I'm pretty sure you and I will agree last year.
Last year was pretty horrendous, yes. And not just because Daniel Bryan did not win, because, yes, he should have won, but, Roman winning led to a lot of things last year, so I understand why it happened.
Right.
Pretty much the 2010s have been not so good.
Yeah, 2010 itself aside, 2010 was...
2010 was all right. 2010 was good. Edge won that one. That was a decent Rumble, but the overall match was not all that good, I didn't think.
Right.
The rest of the 2010s have not been nowhere near as good as the Attitude Era, let's say, or even, the brand extension era.
Yeah. I'd say the best of the 2010s might be 2013.
Where Cena won and went to the that was a good show overall. I thought I watched that show, the whole show, when I was doing my countdown, because that was a good.
We watched that one together.
That's right. That was a good show. It led to contention in the house, of course, between.
Well, because you were still on your anti-Rock sentiment, and Jen wasn't having it.
I was. It was ugly. But it made for an interesting weekend. But yeah, The Rock winning the championship was huge because he had all but walked away and was not coming back, and then he came back, and then he went away, and then we weren't sure, and then he became champion, and the memes popped up, and
as much as I'm a Shawn Michaels fan, I love HBK. He's my favorite of all time.
Yes, absolutely.
Both of the Rumbles that he won really sucked.
95 was pretty awful.
Because they had people that nobody had ever heard of, and the 95 Rumble was full of jobbers.
It was.
Completely stacked with nobody in this Rumble will probably ever see an Intercontinental title, much less a World.
Exactly.
You had the Bulldog, Luger, and who else did you have? Really?
Yeah, because that was an example of a depleted, non-injured roster.
Yeah.
It was just there was just nobody there. They were all at WCW.
It's okay, let's throw in the Blue Brothers, the Bushwhackers, Well Done. Let's throw them in there.
Yeah, let's throw Well Done in there. A tag team that's won 3 matches in the last 3 years, and we'll see how they do.
Funny thing, if anybody watches the 95 Rumble on the network, watch when one of the members of Well Done enters, and you think he's getting this giant pop, but it's Owen Hart being eliminated. It's not.
Yeah. Everybody's like, yeah, here you go. Oh, it's just Owen.
It was why is Stephen Dunn or Timothy Well or whoever it was getting this giant pop? It's oh, never mind.
It's because Owen got thrown out and nobody likes Owen. Well, see, people seem to forget how much of a heel Owen Hart was.
Well, he was a great heel. I mean, turning on Brett the year before in '94.
Yep.
His entire run after that was awesome.
Yep. All the way until the very end, he was great.
Yeah.
But we'll get it both. Sorry.
That's too, though. I mean, you had a better roster there, but you had guys that's okay, Doug Gilbert, nobody's gonna know who that is.
Mr. Perfect, his old partner, didn't know who he was till he saw him on the screen.
Yeah.
Heading's who is it? Oh, yeah.
You had the Squat team, who that was their only appearance
ever.
And apparently they were in ECW at some point.
They went back to ECW after that as the Headhunter, the original gimmick, the Headhunters. Yeah, they went back, and then Dick Murdoch was in that Rumble, and everybody was like, Dick Murdoch? No, I'm sorry, that was 95.
No, it was, it was
Dory. It was Dory Funk that was in the 96 Rumble. Dory Funk, who was 48,000 years old then.
All the Funks have been 75 since the 80s.
Yeah, because Terry was in the 97 Rumble, and they're calling him middle-aged crazy. I'm like, how many 120-year-old people do you know?
Yeah.
How many 120-year-old people do you know?
Have been senior citizens since before Social Security was
since before you and I were born.
Yes.
Jesus. I'm old, so that's something.
It's ridiculous.
I want to bring this up, Greg, really quick before we go on, because it's something that has been talked about that I haven't been able to really bring up on Talk Wrestling very much because, unfortunately, we tape dated material because we tape so far in advance. Unfortunately, it's the way it works out with Aaron and I, because Aaron isn't close anymore, is the Bullet Club. We talked about them earlier briefly.
Right.
If any of these 4 guys come in tomorrow and are part of the Rumble or part of the WWE programming in general, it's going to be the biggest news story in a long, long time. And it'll have to only be supplemented by somebody passing away. That's how big this is going to be.
Right, because it's not in this day and age where you see many big name signings anymore. Sure, you could have Hulk Hogan come back, but it's not as important as it would have been, 15 years ago when he did come back.
Right.
And really, AJ Styles is the last of the big TNA stars that WWE could acquire. As much as I'm a Daniels fan.
Well, but again, Daniels made the choice to go to Ring of Honor. Daniels and Frankie made the choice to go to Ring of Honor. So they made their decision. And you know what? Frankie already did his time in WWE, and so did Chris, and they weren't satisfied.
Yeah, that's true. And really, that was Kazarian's choice. I don't think it was anything he did. And I don't know about Daniels. I'm not as familiar as his time. I just saw his match with Taka Michinoku, but that's about it.
Well, he had a brief thing. He was one of the conquistadors for a while.
Hmm.
So he and Aguilera. So so there was that. But AJ coming to WWE would be the biggest signing they've had, bigger than last night's signing.
Yeah.
And God bless Austin Aries for coming in now. It's like, if AJ shows up in the next week and a half, Austin Aries is going to be footnote.
Yeah, everybody's gonna be like, greatest man who ever lived. Who?
Yeah, like, sorry, Austin, we love you, buddy, but it's AJ Styles. And then if you have the two other guys from the Bullet Club, Gallows and Anderson, come in, I've watched Carl Anderson for years and years. He wrestled in PWG for a number of years, Pro Wrestling Girl, for those who don't know. And he's a great talent. He's funnier than hell, and he can work a blue streak. He's just that good. And Luke Gallows, we've seen Doc Gallows before in WWE. He was part of the Trade Society. He was Festus, of course, before that. We all like to forget that part. But he was just unbelievable. And he's, for a bigger guy, much like Carl Anderson, for two bigger guys, they're agile as hell. They're awesome. Yeah. And then you've got Nakamura, who I've seen in Ring of Honor the last year because I actually got the Ring of Honor channel when it was on Destination America. Lost it when they went to Comet. But I've seen Nakamura, and he's just unbelievable. He's one of those Japanese strong style guys who will kick your head off and laugh at you as you fall down.
Right.
So he's good.
For anybody watching, if you don't know where to find New Japan Pro Wrestling, check out Access TV.
Oh, okay.
TV. So if you can find that channel, that should be on Friday nights from what I've seen.
Do you have Time Warner or DirecTV back there still?
I don't have cable at all. I have Netflix, Hulu, and the network. That's about it.
That's your. Oh, that's right, because you just moved. That's right.
I just moved back.
I forgot about that. I forgot you guys just moved back into where you were. So, okay. Well, I'll have to try to find Access TV on Time Warner Cable out here. God help me, because they don't carry anything. They don't. They're terrible. All right. So the question that everybody wants to know is, will they be kept together? I don't know. I'd like to see them remain together as the Bullet Club, or the Balor Club, if you want to call them that. They already had the shirt made up.
Yeah, that's very true.
But I personally like to see AJ do his own thing. I like to see Anderson and Gallows go after the New Day if they retain the tag titles tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see that match because the New Day are very athletic. They are very good. They're just obnoxious as all heck. But they are good. And they could have a good match with Anderson and Gallows.
See, if Alex was still in the room, he's on your side of the New Day.
Yay. Yes. There is hope for the universe yet.
Hey, Rift and I agree with the New Day. So
I know you do.
So if Travis was here, he'd be on my side of the New Day fence.
Yeah, well, Rift is misguided. I don't know how to switch for you. Maybe it's a cold air back there messing with your brain.
Oh, you've been in this cold air. I'm perfect.
I know. Trust me, my brain was addled for a week. It was freezing.
Well, you brought up the Balor Club.
I did.
And that's another point of discussion. Will the Bullet Club, if they are kept together, reunite with Finn Balor? I mean, it makes sense.
It does.
And Balor has actually been working heel at live NXT events from reports that we've gotten. So.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, they may be going that direction.
Well, the Bullet Club, as much as they want to be bad guys, everybody loves them.
Yep.
So,
The cool heel thing, a lot of people said was a bad thing with the NWO, but let's face it, the heels are cooler.
You know what? I enjoyed, and I know you did as well, being the bad guy manager.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It was the best time I ever had in any wrestling, was being at ringside and knowing that the crowd wanted me hung from a rope.
Oh, yeah.
They did. They wanted my death.
Bobby was one of the guys I managed, and we both worked heel on these shows, and it was a blast.
Yeah.
There's work as a babyface because you have to kind of make people like you.
Yeah, it was funny because I was a babyface briefly when I was hanging out when I first was working with Gary. I was like his co-manager, like I was there with him with his guys against the bad guys that were coming into Epic all the time, and there was no real reaction for me because I was just kind of Gary's little sidekick buddy. And we were good guys, and we were not going for the heel reaction, so it wasn't a big deal. When I came back and was managing High Society and Devin Sparks and Rick Ellis and those guys, and literally, the only time we were heels when I was with Gary was when we traveled up to Hayward, which is up near San Jose, and I had all King stuff on. I had stuff thrown at me.
I'm sure.
I mean, I'm talking like rotted fruit thrown at me because I dared to wear King stuff in San Jose Sharks territory.
Well, I worked a show in Ohio, and there's a huge Cleveland and Pittsburgh rivalry. Of course, me being from Pittsburgh, of course, I'm going to rub it in Cleveland's face that they've never been successful at anything in the last 50 years.
Right.
I mean, such easy stuff to get heat.
Yeah, I find it much easier to be disliked than I do to be appreciated.
The only time I ever was able to get over as a face was as an authority figure, because I was able to shut the heels down and be like, oh, they're cheating. It's like, oh, we're going to get away with that. I'll be like, no, you're not.
Yeah. Never got that role. I didn't get the authority figure role. Not yet, anyway.
Yeah. Well,
maybe one day. But yeah, if Balor and the Bullet Club reunite and go heel, I think they'll be cheered anyway. So I think it's just a matter of finding the right balance.
Oh yeah, they'll just have to generate heat.
They'll have to. And I think that if they're going to put them together and have them generate heat, they can't be at Full Sail full time.
No, I mean, they'll have to get to the main roster eventually. Maybe the night after WrestleMania, I can see.
Because Full Sail loves the influx of guys. Full Sail loves Balor. Full Sail loves the news that's coming out about New Japan guys coming in because they get them first.
Yeah.
So they love every part of that mess. So they're not going to boo those guys.
No, of course not. I mean, they get Samoa Joe, they get Austin Aries, they got Finn Balor, they got Kenta, Hideo Itami, whatever.
Yeah.
They got
Asuka.
So many guys. It's like, and they get them first, and then they take them on the road to the NXT specials, which makes them even more awesome.
Yeah.
All right. The next thing I wanted to talk about was something that you've been involved with when you were over here, and something I've been doing for many years, and that's that I want all the fans to consider doing whenever this airs. I want to say tomorrow night because it's Saturday right now, but for the Royal Rumble match this year and for years to continue, and that is the Rumble numbers game. Because a lot of people like to predict who is going to win the Royal Rumble, and that's sometimes easy, sometimes it's not, but it takes a little bit of a fun out of it.
Right, definitely.
When you play the Rumble numbers game, you put all of the numbers in a hat. You draw one or two numbers to see, hey, maybe I will root for whoever this guy is. It's like, hey, this guy is my horse. It's like I'm invested emotionally into the Royal Rumble because I want that guy to win. I'll actually be involved in a couple of these games this year.
Yeah, I knew you were telling me about that.
Yeah, I can actually win a gift card for crying out loud for if number 18 wins, which is not Roman Reigns, so here's hoping for Lesnar.
Yeah.
Or my pick to win the Rumble, which we'll get to again. But if you want to play it at home, just throw 30 numbers in a hat. If you're having a party, draw numbers to see who you have. Last year, I believe my first pick was R-Truth because I had the number 2 entrant. I was like, well, I was like, he's not Ron the Truth Killings from TNA, so nope.
Yeah, no. Yeah, Dylan actually pulled 19 last year.
Of course, jeez.
We're at Riff's house. We're at Riff's house, and we're drawing all the numbers. We're just drawing them up and dividing them up.
Yeah.
And Dylan ended up getting 19, and we were watching him like we kept counting down. I'm like, freaking Dylan's gonna win this thing.
Yeah. And what? The worst part about it was I actually redrew last year because we had more people come in. It's like, well, we might as well redraw all the numbers. I originally had 19 and gave it away.
Oh, brutal. So the struggle is real.
All right. Now will be one of the fun parts, which we didn't get to do last time on Coast to Coast. And that
because it was busy last time.
Yeah. It is Royal Rumble trivia. Now, what we're going to do, if you didn't see the first episode of this, and why haven't you? Because we're awesome.
And it's on no DQ, for God's sakes. They plugged it too.
Yes. So what we're going to do for Royal Rumble trivia is we're going to ask each other 2 questions. And it's obviously related to the Royal Rumble pay-per-views and the Royal Rumble matches.
Yes.
And we're just going to see, out of the 2 questions, if we can get one or both of them.
Yes, there's no prizes because we can't afford shipping.
Not much of anything.
or anything. That's right. All right, so who's going first? Is it you going first since it's your show, or?
I think, I'll go first with mine.
Okay.
Yeah. So far in the trivia contest, I lead Jeff 1-0.
Yeah.
One time we did it. So
that's right.
Let's see how this goes. All right. This might be a little bit of an easy one, but maybe not. We'll see. Who holds the record for the fastest to be eliminated while owning an elimination on somebody else in Royal Rumble history?
Oh, in the same match?
Yes, in the same match.
I had the answer for that for one of your questions, but that's not what it is. Golly. I don't know. I have no idea. I can't even think of a guess. I would say Owen Hart, but that seems like too easy of an answer.
Are you going with Owen Hart?
I'm going with Owen Hart.
And it's not Owen Hart.
Okay. Who is it?
But it's actually from the 2010 Rumble MVP.
Okay.
Because his actual ring time, he entered at number 14 and was taken out by The Miz. So he didn't enter the ring until The Miz did. So he jumped in the ring, attacked The Miz, clotheslined him over the top, and won himself. So he was only in the Rumble for 6 seconds.
Oh, jeez. That's right. I forgot about that.
You got it wrong because I thought it was the Brian Kendrick from 2009.
That wouldn't surprise me either, knowing Brian Kendrick's records.
Well, he went to Kingston in 2009 and then was gone in 12 seconds or 15 seconds or something like that.
All right. Well, mine is easier than that. The first one I have for you, and it was actually brought up earlier. We know that Santino Marella broke the record of the Warlord in 2009, or where that was, with 1 second elimination. So we know it's Santino and then the Warlord.
Yes.
Who are tied for the next 2 in line with the shortest times in the Rumble? If you'd like a hint after a little while, let me know, and I can give you a hint.
For some reason, I felt like they came from the same match.
Which is the hint?
1995. It's Mo and Owen Hart.
Yep.
Boom!
Once again, Greg gets one and I don't. There you go. Nice high five. Very nice. Shove it in my face. There you go.
We haven't watched the 95 Rumble yet. And like I was saying, it's not that great of a match. But I do distinctly King Kong Bundy tossing Mo over the top rope with ease. Yeah. Of course, we brought up the Owen Hart elimination earlier.
That was a flying mom, what that was.
Yes. All right.
Yes. And what's funny is I told you I was going to finish my countdown today with the 2015 Rumble. I actually finished it Wednesday night. I'm done.
Yes.
I finished them all, so I've had a few days of chill time.
Well, fortunately, this year we don't have enough time to do there's another Rumble every year. We don't have enough time to do all the Rumbles in a weekend. It's just
no.
Unless we don't.
It is impossible. Well, that's why I start beginning of January.
Yeah, I think next year I'm going to do that, like counting down to the 30th Rumble.
Yeah, just one a day.
Might just start after Christmas.
There you go, yeah.
All right, my second question for you. There have been female competitors in the Royal Rumble a couple different times.
Yes.
Now, this involves the competitors that were eliminated. How many combined World Championship reigns are there between the competitors that were eliminated by female competitors in the Royal Rumble?
Okay. I want to say it's 2 because Beth eliminated the Great Khali and China eliminated Mark Henry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember if Carmen eliminated an actual world champion or if she just scared Michael Cole and eliminated somebody else that wasn't a world champion. So I'm going to guess 2.
Well, you had those 2 right.
Okay.
I'm going to eliminate Hunico, but the answer is 8. In 2000, China eliminated Chris Jericho.
Oh, I forgot China was in the 2000 Rumble too. God.
Yeah.
So I had that right, but China eliminated Jericho, which bumped up to freaking 8 with his 6 world titles.
Mm-hmm.
Poodoo.
You know, I'm surprised that Henry was the one I didn't think you would think of. I figured you would Jericho.
You also have to keep in mind, I'm also watching the Raws leading up to shows as I'm going on the network because, like I said, I don't know if I was on Coast to Coast previously or Talk Wrestling, but the days of the week are falling on the same dates. Like Monday, January 24th, 2016, it was also Monday, January 24th, 1999.
Oh, there you go.
So I'm watching them on the Mondays right now. So I just saw the whole China Mark Henry fallout with Sammy. God almighty.
Jeez. That's been 17 years ago.
What's bad is we were watching the Rumbles, the countdown on the Rumbles on the network, and Dylan saw that I was watching that Raw.
Yeah.
Daddy, can we watch that? Nope, can't watch that.
Well, all the Raws leading up to that one were weird. I mean,
yeah,
the one that had the corporate Rumble on it, and this is something I don't want to show anybody else, or I hate the fact I remember this, was the Undertaker was sacrificing Midian, and he his wrist. It's what the hell, Taker?
Yeah, he had gone to the dark place, man. I'll tell you what. Okay, so here's my last one. You're probably gonna get this one right too because I suck today. Who holds the longest time in a single Rumble without actually winning the Rumble? And for a bonus point, can you tell me how long he was in?
Oh, jeez. There's 2 that I'm thinking of.
Okay.
I know it's one or the other.
Mm-hmm. Do a coin toss then.
No, I think I know who it is. Bob Backlund in the 1993 Royal Rumble lasted 61 minutes.
61 minutes and 10 seconds. Yes, very good, sir.
The other one I was thinking of Triple H, because in 2006 he lasted an hour. Yeah. I was like, Backlund edged him.
Yeah, Backlund came in at number 2 behind Ric Flair and lasted till almost the freaking end.
Yeah, he was in the final 3 with Yokozuna and Savage.
Yep. And then Savage with his cover off the elbow drop, Randy.
Well, Backlund was on the floor for half that Rumble, too.
I know. He's still in it.
Yeah.
So the King was under the ring for a part of it. He was still in it.
Yeah, it's true.
All right. So, once again, Greg reigns supreme. What a surprise.
Prize is more promotion for Coast to Coast title.
That's it. Coast to Coast. Aaron, promote.
All right. So now we have finally gotten to the predictions part, which you already did, Aaron, but, we've had a couple more. I think title matches have been added since you guys did the predictions. Right?
They actually had them added when we taped Tuesday.
Oh, okay. So,
but that's okay. But that's okay. I can introduce them and you can talk about them and I can throw my 2 cents. That works too.
That's fine. Go ahead.
All right. We mentioned in the pre-show before we started taping live the divas of the NXT Revolution. And 2 of them are in the title match on Sunday. It is Charlotte defending against Becky Lynch.
And you know what? You guys were talking about Charlotte winning. I'm actually going to go the opposite direction and pick Becky Lynch victory.
Oh, okay.
And the reason
why do you say that
is because Charlotte is a heel, and maybe this is just my personal bias playing into it. I'm kind of hoping for Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks at WrestleMania.
There you go. Well, is Sasha going to be ready? Is she still hurt, or is she injured? Or
back in the next couple of weeks, from what I understand.
Okay. That's a very distinct possibility. I did not consider that, nor did Aaron, I don't think. So that's a very distinct possibility. We could see that. I'm still going to stick with Charlotte, though. I picked it on the show with Aaron. I'm going to stick with Charlotte and see. Maybe we'll get Charlotte and Sasha at WrestleMania, and we'll have maybe Sasha will turn babyface. God help us.
That'd be interesting.
We've got a U.S. Championship match, United States Championship, between Alberto Del Rio for the 3rd time against Kalisto.
Yes. And you know what? I unfortunately didn't see the dual title change because, again, I don't have cable.
Right.
See that Kalisto won the title, and then Del Rio won it right back. It makes no sense to flip-flop that championship, so I'm predicting Alberto Del Rio to retain.
Right. Yeah, I'm sticking with Alberto as well, only because, like you said, there's no reason for a title change to happen that many times when the title is really not that important because John Cena's not around to defend it.
Yeah, and Cena's probably going to come back and win the championship anyway. Which is
Well,
fine.
from what I understand, that was the plan.
Yeah.
That was the plan, was to have Cena come back and win the championship, then he got hurt right away. So
if he wins that U.S. title again, he's going to tie Flair for U.S. title wins.
Which that I don't have a problem with because he's already tied Flair for the world titles.
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't bother me. The tag team titles will be on the line as your favorite team and not mine, the New Day, against the Usos.
Well, you and Riff both picked the Usos. I'm going with the New Day to retain. And the reason I say that is, again, I'm thinking towards WrestleMania season.
Mm-hmm.
That since you said that they don't have anybody else to beat on that roster, that they're going to bring up a certain tag team from NXT to take them out at WrestleMania.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
And I just have one question for you. How you doing?
Yeah, exactly. That would be awesome if I saw.
Can you just imagine the promos between those two teams, the New Day and Enzo and Cass? That would be awesome.
That would be awesome. That'd be absolutely tremendous. I would love to see that. That'd be great. Oh God. Yeah. Hopefully Aaron and I are wrong on picking the Usos and we get New Day and Cass and Enzo. That'd be awesome.
Yes.
Last man standing for the Intercontinental Championship as Dean Ambrose defends against Kevin Owens. Now, Aaron and I threw out the no contest scenario to start with. Aaron kind of co-signed with me, but what's your stance?
This one for me is the hardest one to pick.
Yes.
Because I love them both. I love Ambrose. I love Owens. And those two are just going to tear the house down tomorrow night. And there's so many scenarios. I mean, I like Dean Ambrose. I want him to retain. But there's a part of me that also wants him to lose and be in the Rumble and maybe do well in that. This one's just so hard to call. I mean, I'd like to say that in fantasy booking land, I'd have Kevin Owens win the title and then have a match with Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania.
Well, there you go.
I mean, I know he's talked about fighting The Undertaker, he's talked about fighting Brock Lesnar, but there's so much more history with him and Sami Zayn that was kind of left unfinished because Sami Zayn got hurt.
Right, definitely.
So, officially, I'm going to pick Kevin Owens to regain the Intercontinental title.
Okay. All right. And then we've got the main event for the – let me do my Heyman here. The undisputed WWE Heavyweight Championship of the World in the Royal Rumble match.
Well, my official pick for this is somebody who hasn't been announced, somebody who people have actually been talking about for the last week on the internet, and no, it's not AJ Styles. Yes. Yes, I'm picking Daniel Bryan.
Okay.
Because, I mean, there's a lot of talks that he just got cleared by a doctor at UCLA.
Right.
There have been reports that he's been cleared for a while, and WWE is not ready to pull the trigger, but they need somebody with that star power.
Yes, they do.
Bryan is that guy.
Yes, he is.
So if they're not going to have Reigns win it, and they're not going to have Lesnar win it, or AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan's the logical choice.
Do you see a final two of AJ and Bryan?
That's a possibility, and if that's the case, I don't care who wins.
Right, me neither.
It's like that's perfectly fine. It's like AJ can win, Daniel Bryan can win. I'm happy either way.
Yeah, either way is good.
But who is Lesnar? Wyatt?
Yeah.
All of the Wyatt family, or all of the Wyatt family after they're tossed?
Yeah, because you have the conflict now between Bryan and the Wyatts after what happened on between Lesnar and the Wyatts after what happened on Monday. Mm-hmm. So
unofficially, well, I guess officially, my pick is Daniel Bryan.
All right. Well, hopefully, I get some good draws out of the kitty tomorrow night.
Yeah, hopefully, I get some good picks. Hopefully, number 18 is one that I pull twice, and that number wins. I'm hoping that Shawn Michaels trained Daniel Bryan. like he's number 18. Shawn Michaels.
We'll channel the
Yeah.
juju there.
Shawn Michaels from 18 in 96. Here's hoping 20 years later, Daniel Bryan does the same.
There you go. Makes sense to me.
All right. Well,
All right. So
I think we're pretty much good. I mean, we covered Rumble history from beginning to end.
We did very well. This is a good show. I'm proud of this show, even though we had to get beat in the trivia again because I suck.
I come up with obscure questions, so
you do. But
the Rumble's my baby too, so
it is. It's very true. We'll see what happens for WrestleMania.
Yeah, WrestleMania might be a little more of a challenge for me.
We'll see.
All right. Well, from the East Coast all the way over to the West Coast.
Yes, sir.
Opinion sensation, Greg Cherry.
And I am the West Coast Professor Jeff Meacham.
And we will see you next time on Coast to Coast.